Read.
For they said unto me, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we want not what has become of him.
So now, it switched from him actually doing it to the people made me do it. Read.
And I said,
he passed the buck. Read.
And when Moses saw that the people were naked.
He said when he saw that the people were what?
Naked.
What happened? Talking to me. Well, you got to understand, I was raised like this. What do that got to do with me saying I don't like the way you talk to me? Admit you're wrong. Right? Come clean. Be accountable for how you made me feel. Right? So a lot of people try to make it seem like, well, when you wrong somebody, if y'all sit there and y'all have a cry together, then you owned up to what you did, you're accountable. Right? Accountability is not just admitting what you did and having a cry. Accountability is changing your course of action. Make sense? With Cain and Abel, like we was talking about with the kids, if he would have just went back and gave the Most High the proper offering, that would have showed that he's taken accountability for what he's done wrong. Right? Verse 25. Was that verse 25? Read that again.
And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies, then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on Yahuwah's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him.
So, right here we understand that Moses knew it was Aaron. Aaron got to pay for that. If anybody don't understand or know how Aaron died, look it up and see how Aaron died. Get 1 Samuel chapter 15. Remember, he said, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, but they are they which testify of me. So what we're going to be getting to is we're going to be able to pull out Mashiach in this whole accountability thing, and we're going to understand an aspect of why we have to hold ourselves accountable and what the penalty is for not doing so. Y'all with me? All right. 1 Samuel 15 and 1.
1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, who has sent me to anoint thee to be king?
He did what?
He sent me to anoint you to be king.
He just gave Saul a responsibility. Right? He said, he sent me to anoint you to be king. Read on.
Over his people, over Israel. Now, therefore, listen thou unto the voice of the words of Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way, when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox, sheep, camel, and donkey.
Plain and simple, right? There's a responsibility. Now you have to go carry it out. Drop down to verse 9.
Verse 9. But Saul and the people.
But who?
But Saul and the people.
But who?
Saul and the people.
Now he's the king, right? Whatever Saul say, go, right? So it says, and Saul and the people. If Saul would have told them not to do this or to do that, they had no choice but to do what? Than to listen. So when it gives you the thing saying Saul and the people, who had to lead the charge in this? Saul. Right? Go ahead.
But Saul and the people spared Agag.
They did what?
They spared Agag.
So who spared Agag? Saul did. Read.
And the best of the sheep.
And the what?
And the best of the sheep.
Go ahead.
And of the oxen. And of the fatlings. And of the lambs. And all that was good. And would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refused, that they destroyed utterly. that I have set up Saul to be king, but he is turned back from following me, and have not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto Yahuwah all night. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up in a place, and is gone about, and passed, and gone down to Gilgal.
Verse
13. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou Yahuwah, I have performed the commandments of Yahuwah.
He said what?
I have performed the commandments of Yahuwah.
So, Quab taught a lesson saying one thing leads to another, right? The first thing wrong that Saul did was not follow the commandment of the Most High. The second thing wrong that Saul did was what? Was a lie. I done did all the commandments. Before Saul could say a word, hey, what's up, baby? I done did everything you told me to do. Right? So when you go in the room and your child say, hey, Dad, I didn't take no cookies. I didn't take nothing out the cookie jar. The first thing you're going to think is, you done took some cookies, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right? There's no reason for you to lead off with that. Read on.
Verse 14. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear?
What's going on with all these animals out here in the background? Read.
And Saul said, They have brought them.
Hold on. He said what?
And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites.
Saul said, I brought them from the Amalekites.
Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites. For the people spare the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto Yahuwah thy God, and thy rest of we have utterly destroyed.
So Saul just gave his plan. I brought them back, so I can sacrifice to the Most High what we got. But we killed everything that was detestable. Was he accountable? Did he hold himself accountable? Absolutely not. He passed the buck. Right? Just like Cain. The Most High didn't want the offering that Cain gave. But because he leaned to his own understanding, he felt like he was doing something that was good. Right here, Saul is the same way. Oh, I kept this stuff so I can sacrifice it to the Most High. Try to soften the blow. But you ain't do what he asked you to do. So now you got to face the consequences, right? Read.
Verse 16. Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell thee what Yahuwah hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. And Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel?
You was made king. Drop down to verse 19.
Verse 19. Wherefore then that thou didst not obey the voice of Yahuwah, but didst fly upon the spoils, and didst evil in the sight of Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of Yahuwah.
He done lied again. Nah, I obeyed him. I got it. I did it right. Read.
I have obeyed the voice of Yahuwah, and have gone the way which Yahuwah hath sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites.
That ain't what he told him to do. So he's still not holding himself accountable. Still making up an excuse. But this time, he said, I have brought. Right? He didn't say they this time. Right? Because Samuel done came to him again, like, yo, my man. He sent you on a journey to do this and do that, and now you ain't doing. So it's just like the person that will give the excuse as to why they did something wrong to you, as opposed to just admitting they did something wrong. You got running a business, right? I was looking at this thing about this real successful business, and their motto was 100-0. I'm like, what do that mean? The dude get on the saying, it was 100% -0%, right? So the 100% was accountability. The 0% was excuses. So if you're accountable 100% of the time, that means you can make 0 excuses, right? And based on that, that saying for their company, they became like the #1 in their region, right? So that's the same principle that we ought to have, but we understand that people don't like to hold themselves accountable for a specific reason that we're going to get to on the next lesson we teach, right? Get Genesis chapter 3. Pick it up at verse 11.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 11. And he said, who told you that you was naked? Have you
Actually,
eaten?
start at verse 10.
Verse 10. And he said, I heard the voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked. I hid myself.
I did what?
I hid myself.
I hid myself. What is this called, y'all? When you sin and you hide it, what is that called? Iniquity. Right? Read.
And he said, who told you that you was naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you shouldest not eat?
So he asked him a specific, straightforward question. And he addressed it to him. Adam, have you eaten from the tree I told you not to? What did he say?
And the man said, that woman you gave me.
Why can't you answer the question? Because you don't want to be held what? Accountable. He asked him a question. If I say, can you put those shoes on today? What you gonna tell me? You ain't gonna say. The only reason that you would give me another answer if you think I'm coming at you in a slick way, right? If you think that I think those shoes is ugly, you gonna say, oh man, my wife made me put these on. Right? Oh man, I ain't want to wear this sweater, man. The wife bought this for me, man. So you don't want to accept what you've done. It's you. There's no blaming time for your actions. It's only you. Could he have been a tempter? Absolutely. But the person who actually committed the act is who? You. So he asked Adam, read that one more time. Verse 12.
And he said,
verse 11.
And he said, who told you that you was naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you?
Have you eaten? Read.
That you shouldest not eat? And the man said, the woman that thou gavest me to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
Did he answer the question?
No.
The woman you gave me is the one who gave me of the tree, and I ate. Right? Not holding himself accountable. Let's move on. Go ahead.
And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the woman, what is this thing that thou hast done?
So he allowed it to go through. You didn't accept it. Okay, you said it was the woman. Bet. What did you do? Right? He's given them ample opportunity to be what? What would have happened if they would have just been accountable? What would have happened if they had just repented of the evil that they had done? Possibly, they could have been able to receive that eternal life that they were supposed to get. Right? Why else would he give them the opportunity to answer for what they did? We're going to see that he's asking now. Later, it ain't going to be no questions. Go ahead.
And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done?
That who have done?
That you have done.
What is this that you have done? Read.
And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me.
She said what?
The serpent tricked me, and I did eat.
So, did she take accountability? She did what? Passed the buck. Right? It wasn't me. The serpent that you brought up in here. So who's she blaming it on? Is she? What we not even paying attention is the person that's actually getting blamed is Yah. You brought him in here. You gave me that woman. You, right? So the principle that we got to look at is, even though they gave the excuse, the blame is actually going to the Most High. Just like if somebody that you love, let's say your brother brings they friend over, and they steal $40 from out your house. But if you would have never brought him over here, he wouldn't have had the chance to steal from me. It's your fault that that happened. For lack of better statements in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, that's exactly what they telling the Most High. Everybody see that? Yeah. Okay. Read that verse again.
Verse 13. And Yahuwah said, Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
So, what have you done? And she said, the serpent beguiled me, right? Well, let's see if that's exactly what happened. Jump up to verse 1. Because he asked her specifically, what have who done? You done. Read.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have Elohim said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the trees which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.
So she understand the concept, right? Read.
And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die, for Elohim do know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as Elohims.
So, what did the serpent say to her that intrigued her? Was it the fact that she said that, he said that she wasn't going to surely die? Or was it the fact that he told her that her eyes were going to be open? Her eyes. She ain't really thinking about the death part. Because that wasn't the reason why she said she went after it. So the question that Yah asked her was it you that did it? What have you done? So her response should have been, I did this. Right? But she said it was the serpent. Read on.
And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die, for Elohim do know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
So she saw that it was good for food. Did she see that it was good for her not to die? She saw that it was good for food. What else?
And pleasant. Hold on. Food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes.
She saw that it was pleasant to the eyes. Read.
And a tree to be desired or coveted to make one wise.
She the one who coveted it. Right? So the blame that got cast down and the Most High asking her about should have been taken by who? Her. There wasn't nobody else that made her do nothing. She did all of this stuff. Read.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
And he what?
And he did eat.
She pushed it in my mouth.
And he did eat.
I ain't put that blunt in your mouth and make you smoke it. Right? He ate it. Right? Read.
And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked.
And they what?
And they knew that they were naked.
Go ahead.
And they sewed fig leaves together, and made them aprons. And they heard the voice of Yahuwah Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim.
They did what?
They hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim.
Oh, what you got? Get Isaiah 59 and verse 1. What happened after they got found out? What happened to them? They got kicked out the garden, right? They got separated from the Most High, right? Isaiah 59 and 1.
Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 1. Behold, Yahuwah's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear. But your iniquities.
But your what?
Iniquities
have done what?
Have separated between you and your Elohim.
He said your iniquity is what separated us. Remember, iniquity is when you commit sin and try to do what with it? Cover it up. Cover it up, hide it. He said your iniquity separated us. You tried to cover this up. Instead of you being accountable for what you've done, you put it off on something else. You've made it something different. What did you do? Oh man, you know, it was just this circumstance and that circumstance. No, what did you do? Right? Let's go back. So he said, your iniquity separated me from you. What is that in on that? Keep reading.
And your Elohim and your sins.
And your what?
Sins
have done what?
Have hid his face from you.
So now that your iniquities have separated you from me, your sins have made him hide his face from you. Right?
That he will not hear.
And he won't what?
He will not hear.
I ain't gonna hear you now. Before he could talk back and forth with him. He said, now I'm not gonna hear you. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. Remember, the premise is what would have taken place if they had just been accountable for their own actions, not passing the buck. Right? Pick it up where you left off.
Okay, verse 9. And Yahuwah Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself.
Did he answer the question?
No.
He couldn't even answer that. Adam, where you at? Man, you know, look, I heard you, so he asked him a direct question. All of this is trying to get Adam to come clean. All I want you to do is come clean, Adam. But he can't even answer straightforward questions. That's what a lot of us do. Well, why did you do that? Well, you know, man, you know, see, this what happened and this what. No. You are only accountable for what you did in the situation, not for what else happened around you. You're only going to be judged based on you, not for what somebody else did. The children of Israel went through a siege in Jerusalem, right? They went through all type of hell. But when it come down to it, and he asked them, hey, did you go off and murder your brother to save yourself from the siege? If you can't say, yeah, I did, I repent, you're done. But the siege didn't cause you to murder your brother. That makes sense? You did that on your own. Right? Read on.
And the man said, verse 11, and he said, who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, the woman that thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
We gonna see something. Read on.
And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
Hold on. Did he ask the serpent why he did it? No. No. He wasn't asking the serpent why he did it for him to repent, for him to turn around. It's on you now. So here's your punishment. Make sense? Remember that for the end of this lesson. When it came to the serpent, he never asked him why he did it at this particular time. Read.
And Yahuwah Elohim said,
Go ahead.
Said unto the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed above all cattle.
So when he said, because you have done this, that means that he knew exactly what he did. Does that mean the same thing for Eve? Yeah. He knew exactly what she did. That mean the same thing for Adam? Yeah. He knew exactly what he did. But he was trying to give them the opportunity to come clean and admit what they did. Keep reading.
Cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Remember that for next week. Go ahead.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Between what now?
Thy seed and her seed.
Between your seed and her seed. What that got to do with anything? We'll find out. Go ahead.
It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said.
What did he say to the woman?
I will greatly multiply your sorrow.
He said, I will what?
Greatly multiply your sorrow.
Go ahead.
And thy conception. And in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
He said, in what now?
In conception.
In what?
In sorrow.
So the sorrow was going to be multiplied in her what now?
Conception.
And in what?
Child, bringing forth child.
So
children.
She was going to be in sorrow when she conceived. She was going to be in sorrow when she do what? Bring forth children. So when she have babies, it's going to be painful. I myself have never experienced that type of pain. But from the looks on y'all faces, who has, that I just saw, it's painful. Right? So, because she didn't hold herself accountable, you have to go through pain in childbirth. Now ask me, Trav, what that got to do with anything?
Trav, what that got to do with anything?
We gonna find out. We gonna figure this out. Because her not taking accountability for her actions gave her a certain type of punishment. Adam not taking accountability for his actions gave him a certain type of punishment. Right? Read the next verse.
Finish this one out.
Go ahead.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you.
Oh, well, see, that was a curse. One never supposed to rule over me. See? Well, that means that you have to hold yourself accountable. But let's keep moving. And remember, whenever I teach a lesson, it's because I went through it. I don't teach a lesson just because it's something to teach. I myself was a person that couldn't hold himself accountable. I didn't want to look bad in people's eyes. I didn't want nobody to look at me wrong or out of the way, because I didn't want nobody to internalize Travis as being somebody who makes mistakes. So I didn't know how to hold myself accountable. And one of the people who actually started to make me hold myself accountable was dun-dun-dun-dun. What y'all think? My wife. That boy said him. Man, oh man. Nah, he trying to steal your thunder. Trying to steal your thunder. My wife. Right? I would do things that would hurt her feelings. As a man, I think logically. That was my excuse. What you mean I didn't hold your hand? Why would that make you feel? I mean, what do you mean romantic? Like, we go home together every day. Right? That famous quote, that famous joke. I keep the lights on for you, right? I pay the bills in the house, right? That's me doing something for you. Right? What was you about to say?
Clingy jingy. Clingy.
Right? But that too is from the curse. Right? But understand this. Because I wasn't able to hold myself accountable, it caused her to fester in feelings that she had been revealing to me. That I couldn't get myself to understand what she going through. Why is you crying? It's just holding hand. Why are you feeling like this? It's just this. It's just that. As opposed to me saying, I made you feel a certain type of way. I have to hold, regardless of if I feel like she should be crying over this or not, it's the fact that I did it. Right? Always told my wife, if you with somebody that make you cry, they not worth your tears. But anybody that's actually worth your tears, gonna do everything in their power to make sure that you don't cry. And I witnessed my wife crying because of my actions. So I had to learn that it's me. Maybe she want me to hold her hand. Even though I don't agree with it, in order to hold myself accountable, I have to do something that changes the course of how she feels.
Hold that hand.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I know my brothers in here like, no, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Right? But accountability is key. If you're in a relationship, if you do everything in your power to make them happy, and they do everything in their power to make you happy, who's wrong? Where's the issue? 100% accountability, 0% excuses. Right? Oh, well, you know, I just don't think like I'm a man. I just don't think like that. That just don't work for me. I'm sorry. It don't work like that. Right? Romans the 2nd chapter. Maccabees, don't fight it out. Hold her hand out. Hey, B said swing. B said swing that hand. Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2. In verse 1. So now, once you understand what's required of you, Adam and Eve understood what was required of them, right? Just like my wife told me what was required of me. What would cause her not to feel a certain type of way. That means that if I didn't do that from that point on, or we didn't come to some type of compromise from that point on, then I didn't have an excuse. Make sense? How many of us don't know what's required of us when it comes to the Most High? That means you don't have an excuse. 100% accountability, 0% excuses. Romans 2 and 1.
Romans chapter 2 and verse 1. Therefore, you are inexcusable.
You are what?
Inexcusable.
Because you're supposed to know this. 100% accountability. Read.
O man, whosoever thou art, that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. But thou that judgest doest the same thing. But we are sure that the judgment of Elohim is according to the truth against them which commit such things.
Verse 3.
And thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of Elohim? So,
you gotta understand, when you judging the situation, you have to already have held yourself accountable for the things that you've done. In the Israelite community today, we got a big problem with holding people of a higher echelon, so to speak, to being accountable for their actions. Why? Because the people that are to hold them accountable can't be accountable themselves. Right? If I know within me that I'm good on my stance, I can call you out on your best. But if I know that it's something in me that can't hold myself accountable, I'm going to be a supreme hypocrite if I hold you accountable. Right? You read.
Verse 4.